Hey guys, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 278. Thank you so much for being here with me as always. And I thought we would start off with a cool thing that happened to me today was it was an interesting manifestation, I must say. So I was thinking about how I don't get as many hugs as I used to get. And it just kind of popped in my head and I was like, man, I used to get like a bunch of hugs every day because all my clients would hug me and I had a bunch of kids and they would always want to hug. And so I was just thinking about that. And I was thinking about that probably this morning. I was taking one of the cats to the vet to get their annual exam and was driving home. I think that's when I was thinking about it. So a few hours later, I went to my office to kind of pick up some mail that I had there. And there was this random stranger standing there and she goes, "You look beautiful today." And I was like, "Well, thank you. That was so sweet of you to say that." She's like, "God told me to tell you that." So she said, I talk to God a lot and I felt like I should tell you. And then she said, he also told me that you probably need a hug. And I said, wow, yeah, I do need a hug actually. That is amazing. And so she proceeds to give me a hug, this total stranger. And then she goes, "I used to live in Russia and, I came here and blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "I feel like I need to give you a Russian hug too." And I was like, "What's a Russian hug?" And she's like, "I'll show you." So we put all of our stuff down and she gives me this bear hug. She's like this tiny woman and she gives me this tight, strong hug. And I was like, oh God, I couldn't hardly breathe. It was hilarious. But it was such a cool manifestation, a very quick one that happened. And I thought it was just so neat. And then it got me thinking, I was like, wow, that was such a synchronicity because I did need a hug. And I've had some kind of sad things going on this week a little bit. And I just needed a hug. And I was just thinking about how, the old clients that I had and how sweet it was. And then it got me thinking about how many people don't get hugs and that need them. And when I was doing Taibo, not tonight, but there was another night I was doing it. And in a couple of the videos, Billy Blank's the guy that does the Taibo. He said, I was making sure I had my mic. The other night I forgot my mic. Sorry about that. But yeah, I got it on. Okay, we're all good. He said, "Put your hand right here, put your hand right here." And he's like, "That's my hug to you." And so do this. That's my hug to you. If you need a hug, here's your hug today. I think we all lack, not all of us, but some of us lack, a lot of people actually lack that physical contact. So give yourself a hug every day. If you don't get an actual hug, or go find somebody to hug. Everybody needs a hug no matter who you are. And I think they're so important. And just that physical touch, we need like that 20-second hug to get that oxytocin start flowing, So, and you've got pets and you can hug and kiss them and pet them, but having that physical hug from a human is so nice. So just remember to be kind to people. You never know what's going on in their minds, and everything might look okay on the surface. It's kind of that you never know what battle someone's fighting. So we need to remember not to judge people, and especially not to judge ourselves. We do that a lot, I feel. So stop doing that. We got to just stop doing it. You got to decide not to do it today. And if you don't have a hug from somebody, get some of these, remember the emotional, support pickles. That's what they're called. Get some of these on Amazon. And I haven't pulled them out yet again, but oh my gosh, they're so freaking cute. But they have Pop-Tarts and all kinds of stuff. I don't sell these. I'm just saying you should get some of these. If you need something, you can hold on to it, hug it, whatever. I know that's weird, but hey, we got to do stuff to make ourselves feel better. And sometimes you got to think outside the box to do that. And I don't think that we do that enough. And I don't think we hug our loved ones enough. I think that's really necessary. And we don't take care of ourselves enough. And so I just wanted to share that story because I thought it was just so cool how that happened. And then somebody else gave me a compliment. I was in the drive-thru where I shouldn't have been, getting some ice cream from Sonic. and they gave me a compliment. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So, synchronicities all over the place. And we got to remember that we never know what people are dealing with. We just have to know that like there is a light at the end of the tunnel all the time. We just have to know that it's there and it's coming, and we've got to share our light with others. If you're feeling good, share it with somebody else, because I guarantee there's people that aren't feeling so good out there. And So, and I also wanted to share You Can Heal Your Life, the book again. I wanted to read a little bit out of this. I really like this. Chapter 9 of this book is called Daily Work. And so the first little section is, if children gave up when they fell for the first time, they would never learn to walk. And isn't that true? You know, if we gave up the first time we tried something, we'd never learn anything, and we wouldn't be challenged, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't bloom where we are. And so she says, like any other new thing you are learning, it takes practice to make it part of your life. First, there is a lot of concentration, and some of us choose to make this, quote, hard work. I don't like to think of it as hard work, but rather as something new to learn. The process of learning is always the same, no matter what the subject, whether you're learning to drive a car or type or play tennis or think in a positive manner. First, we fumble and bumble as our subconscious mind learns by trial, and yet every time we come back to our practicing, it gets easier, and we do it a little bit better. Of course, you won't be perfect the first day. You'll be doing whatever you can do. That's good enough for a start. Say to yourself often, I'm doing the best I can. So remember to always tell yourself you're doing the best you can. Give yourself grace and mercy and all those things. Give yourself love. Give yourself forgiveness. Let go of the resentment of yourself. That'll be a whole other video. We will talk about that another time for sure. But it's something to work towards. And you're always doing the best you can. Just say that to yourself. I'm always doing the best I can. And the next section is always support yourself. I love this. She says, I well remember my first lecture. When I came down from the podium, I immediately said to myself, Louise, you were wonderful. You're absolutely fantastic for the first time. When you have done 5 or 6 of these, you will be a pro. A couple of hours later, I said to myself, I think we could change a few things. Let's adjust this and let's adjust that. I refused to criticize myself in any way. If I'd come off the podium and begun berating myself with, oh, you were so awful, you made this mistake and you made that mistake, then I would have dreaded my second lecture. As it was, the second one was better than the first, and by the 6th one, I was feeling like a pro. I love how she said, I refused to criticize myself in any way. And that really right there, when I do these videos, I could criticize something every video, I'm sure, but I don't. I give myself grace and I say, hey, you're not a public speaker. You've never done this before. Yeah, you're 278 videos in, but nobody's taught you anything about this. And you're just being yourself. And you turn on that camera. You're brave every single day. You're courageous every single day to even share anything about your life, because I'm a very private person. And so, and I know I'm not sharing that much, but I'd like to share more, and I will. But what I am doing and sharing is like where I'm comfortable right now. And that's enough for me. And I hope it helps people think differently. That's all I want to do, is help people think differently and know that they're great enough and perfect enough the way that they are. And so I love how she says, I refuse to criticize myself. We've got to remember, we don't need to criticize ourselves. You got to stop that today. No more criticizing yourself. We're just getting better every day. You're doing the best you can with all the information you have right now. And then you're going to take that information and learn these lessons that you're learning. And then you're going to do better and better every day, 1% better every day. So no need to criticize anything. Oh, I sucked at this and this was terrible. No. I mean, my mic hasn't worked in some of these videos in the past. This camera, I'm so ready to get my Sony back. I love this camera. It's cool. But I think it's just, I like the Sony better. And I'd like to hook it up to the laptop and start streaming a little bit in the future. And I've got to learn that new skill. And so it's just, you just go with your flow and you say, I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. This is who I am. And I always say I'm speaking from my heart, because that's what I'm doing. I really don't plan the videos. I'm going to get better at that. I keep saying that, but like that is my next focus, is to get a little tighter with the videos. But I also like having a conversation with you guys, feeling like we're actually sitting in the same room talking, because this is how I sound when I'm just talking to somebody. So I speak from my heart. I don't ever turn this on and perform, in other words. Like, it's not a performance. This is just me being me, and hopefully it helps you be you, because that's all we need to do, is be ourselves, no matter what's going on. And so let's see. And then there was one more thing I wanted to, what was it? Let's see. I think it was, oh yes, how do you begin your day? She said, what is the first thing you say in the morning when you wake up? We all have something we say almost every day. Is it positive or negative? I can remember when I used to awaken in the morning and say with a groan, oh God, another day. And that is exactly the sort of day I would have. One thing after another going wrong. Now when I awaken and before I even open my eyes, I thank the bed for a good night's sleep. Ooh, that's a cool thing to do. I thank the bed for a good night's sleep. Let's start there. That's a great thing to do. Thank you, bed, for a great night's sleep. You can even name your bed. Give it a name. After all, we have spent the whole night together in comfort. Then with my eyes still closed, I spent about 10 minutes just being thankful for all the good in my life. I program my day a bit, affirming that everything will go well and that I will enjoy it all. This is before I get up and do my morning meditation or prayers. I love that. Love, love, love that. Let's see. It seems like there was one. Oh, here's another thing, an exercise. I love myself is what it's called. And she says, I assume you are already saying I approve of myself almost nonstop. This is a powerful foundation. Keep it up for at least a month. Now take a pad of paper and at the top write, I love myself, therefore, and finish the sentence in as many ways as you can. Read it over daily and add to it as you think of new things. I love myself, therefore. I approve of myself almost nonstop. That is something really great to do, and also to stop believing in limitations. Just stop believing that they actually exist. They don't. Any limitation you're putting on yourself does not exist. It is a lie. If you can start telling yourself, this is what I do. I'm like, I challenge all those beliefs that come up now. And I'm like, where did this come from? Is this a lie? And like all the time, I would say that it is a lie. And what if everything that you believe about yourself that's negative is a lie? Like, what if it truly is a lie? How would you change that? What would you decide to change? What would you decide to feel? And we can decide to think anything we want, just like thanking the bed. Like that's such a cool, I forgot that was even in there, that part, because I've read this before, but I forgot about it. There's so many good practices that we forget to do. So thank your bed. Thank your body. Thank your eyes. We say thank you. I've said in a bunch of videos to say thank you to everything around you. Well, that's a great practice. I never thought to thank your bed necessarily. Thank everything around you. Thank your body. Thank your eyes. Thank your brain. Thank your voice. You're great just the way you are. And so appreciate yourself. Like I say at the end of every video, appreciate yourself. The more you give yourself value, the more you're going to appreciate in value, the more you appreciate yourself. So remember to give yourself a hug every day. If you don't get a hug every day, you better dang well be giving yourself a hug every day. You deserve one. So you got to do what you got to do to love yourself, take care of yourself. And that's whenever, like, I look at that like as we're raising our standards for life. Your quality of life will be so much better when you're treating yourself as a quality person, because you are one. And again, if you don't believe that you are, that comes from that past programming from other people. I don't give a damn what anybody has ever said to you about you. It's not true. There are people out there that will talk so much crap and they don't know who you are. They just see what's on the surface and they say, that's the evidence I have against you. And you don't have to believe anything that they say. You've got to only choose to believe you. Always. If you can do that, you're directing your mind where it needs to go so you can create. That creative energy that you could be using on creating your life, is spent on why is this person saying this to me? Why are they doing this? Why are they not doing this? There's too much energy being exerted on nonsense. Let's just define it what it is. It's nonsense. So you've got to go inside your mind and decide who you are. Do not listen to anybody outside of you, unless they're being nice to you, unless they tell you you're amazing and beautiful and handsome and all those things. Then you can listen to them. But if they're telling you something negative about yourself, you don't have to buy into that. And then if you hear somebody say that, remember the world is mirroring us. So they're just a blob of energy teaching you something about yourself. Is there some truth to what they're saying, like that you believe of what they're saying? You don't have to believe it. It might be, I think Bashar said something like, it's a test that's there that maybe you have placed there to see if you'll buy into that old belief again. So you got to pass your own test basically. So that's a theory. I mean, we don't know if it's true, but try it. What if that is true? So look at this person, whatever they said, be like, oh, am I going to react the same way? Because to know that you've changed is to not react the same way that you always have to things. But I also know that it's not that we really change, it's that we become more of who we truly are. That's really what's happening. We're not changing necessarily. We use that word, but we're just becoming more of who we truly are. So you decide who you are. You do not let others decide who you are. And I'll leave you with that, because that could be a whole other, that could be a whole workshop. The people pleasers and the overthinkers and all these things. So just know that you are great enough just as you are. You're awesome. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Don't let your brain tell you otherwise. And give yourself a hug. And if you have access to other people, you better be hugging them. Just give some hugs tonight and tomorrow and over the weekend and every day moving forward. You need a 20-second hug from everybody. Remember that. And tell somebody, hey, we got to time our hug. It's got to be 20 seconds. So give them that Russian bear hug, whatever I got today. That was a first. I thought I'd, well, not had everything, but that was interesting. It was so nice. So it was such a fun experience. It was just such a funny experience. It was a funny day. So, well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and day and evening, whatever time it is where you are. And you are so loved. Remember that. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that. Thank your bed when you wake up in the morning. Remember what Louise Hay did. Great advice. Thank everything around you. And remember to appreciate what you, what do I say? Appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. I got to go to bed early again. Oh yeah, and my eye is healing up very well. I am so happy about that today. Thank you guys for being here with me during the healing process this week. It's been awesome. All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.